My name is Carter Davison. I discovered the love for racing at the age of 5 years old, racing a BMX bike that in my first year, I became the Tennessee state champion in my division. At the age of 6, I moved up to kart racing, and in just a few years, I found myself winning the 2013 WKA World Championship at Daytona. And now, I'm looking to start my stock car career.
This is going to be a new challenge.
And I'm only 12 years old. Follow my journey to see if I have what it takes to race against the big boys. I think I can take them.
Left turn living, left turn living, left turn living.
Good job, buddy. Hey, I'm proud of you. All right, guys, we've decided on to do this reality show or whatever. So I talked to Chris with Venture Productions, and he wants us to go through some of our old home videos, and he's going to use them somehow in the show.
Hi, I'm Chris Reddick, the producer and director for the Left Turn Livin show. You know, in order to tell this incredible story about the Davison family, I had the family go through some old videos, you know, so it could help jog their memory so they could do really well in their interviews.
We could do some racing. I got some old racing
naked
stuff.
in the bathtub.
I got some old racing
How
stuff.
about Carter when he was in the bathtub?
Yes.
Hey, I got some old VHS stuff. You want to watch that?
VHS.
I can't believe they don't know what VHS tapes are. VHS. VHS.
Oh, look.
Oh my God. I think Paul
It's the little things in life that make you worth living, like taking a good-looking girl a fishing. It's the little things in life that make you worth living. 'Cause it's the little things in life that make you worth living.
Oh, it's hard. You can't get it off.
I think the family had a lot of fun reminiscing. Okay, so after they watched tons of videos and went through plenty of pictures, it was now time for the interview process, which it was pretty interesting in the beginning.
All right. Who are you? Okay, my name is Dean Davison, and I am Carter.
It took a few takes to get used to it.
He like forgot our names. He was like,
He's like
Caden,
proud father of
Cammy,
Caden,
Cammy and Carter.
But they finally got comfortable with being in front of a camera.
I'm Caden Davison, and I'm Carter's oldest sister. I'm a junior at Elizabeth High School. And with Carter's Racing, I do like his social media and work on like his sponsors and just promoting him.
I'm Cammy Davison, and I'm 16 years old, and I go to Elizabethan High School, and I play soccer and run track.
I'm Carter Davison. I'm a student at Ted Duggar Middle School in Elizabethton, Tennessee. I started racing bicycles around 4 1/2 and 5. And then we moved on to go-karts, and right now I'm racing a Mod 4 and Low Supply Speedway.
Okay, so you just met the Davison children, but now it's time to get ready for Left Turn Livin. But first, we must start in the beginning to find out who are the Davisons.
I would describe the Davison family as busier than we'd like to be sometimes.
We're running 90 to nothing most every day.
You know, we're always, looking ahead where we're going to be, and we're having to juggle school.
And then Dad's running me to practice, and then we're going to rental houses. And
now my oldest one's working. We're having to juggle that.
Oh my gosh, can you just bring that in the house? I have no hands.
Trying to balance school and go to a race and then go to soccer, get Cammy to soccer practice. It's very hectic.
Go! Quarter Chris is not having all I'm going! Oh, you're...
Chaotic for us is kind of the norm.
My husband's work schedule, having to make sure everything fits into that. It's just A lot of planning.
A lot of times Heather and I will get together and trying to make sure we know who's going to be where and how we're going to get to the different events.
This Davison bunch is a crazy family. I mean, we've got Carter, who's only 12, about to drive around a stock car when I don't even have my license. Kaden, who thinks she's our mom, bossing us around. And then our real mom, cooking us meals with all our practices. And then we've got Dad, who's probably the craziest one out of us all, but he's trying to keep us straight, and at the end of the day, we all love each other and support each other.
When you get up and goes, done got up and win, you just can't take no more being. Hold on for another day.
Heather and I, our youngest, Carter, is heavily involved in racing and has been since right before he turned 5. I wasn't sure if he would like that type of sport, but I grew up around it. I just thought that was really, really cool. So got a motorcycle when I was fairly young and traded that for a go-kart and raced my first race there, won it, and from then on, that's what I wanted to do for a living, was race. It was really neat. The need for speed that I had really came out in a way to serve the Lord, which I never even dreamed. I thought, well, if you get saved and the Lord wants to use you, you become a pastor. But I had no ideas that I would be a bush pilot and become ordained as the pastor in Ruby, Alaska, to work with the Athabascan Indians. So Heather, myself, and both of the girls were there in Alaska doing that. I mean, I had an airplane, high-powered rifle, and a four-wheeler and a snowmobile. So all the things I wanted as a kid growing up for the need for speed and the love for speed, the Lord just took that and meshed it all into one, and I was serving Him. So it was actually greater to me than if I had made it as a full-time professional driver, because I was using all the things I love to do to glorify Christ. So after being on the mission field for doing several years of training and being in Alaska for some time, we came back. It's crazy, I still had the need for speed.
I don't really know what spurred that back on, other than, like I said, maybe he and Carter watched some races together. And
at that time, I heard that they had come out with these 3/4 scale cars, race cars called Legend cars, and they were somewhat affordable and really, really good racing, very competitive racing. I heard they were going to be racing those down in Newport, Tennessee at the Newport Speedway. And
so he started, of course, watching racing more and doing more with it.
And so I went over. I knew I probably shouldn't, but I went over to Bristol where they sell these cars.
I'm sure he ran into somebody that was doing it.
Ron Humble. He didn't really have to sell me on the idea, let's say. So he fired one up, and they sounded really racy with a 4-cylinder motorcycle engine on them. He also told me, he said in 2 weeks they're going to be racing these at Bristol Motor Speedway. And he said, what would you think about that being your first race in one of these? And I thought that'd be the coolest thing ever. So I bought one, I think that day, and he started going through it and getting it ready. And my first race up in a Legend car was at Bristol Motor Speedway. And from there on, I spent 2 or 3 seasons racing Legend cars.
And I don't understand what the wind blowing today.
In an emergency, would your organization know what to do next? Bellatorum Solutions can help you be ready. 35 years of combined security experience, planning, preparation, and training. Don't wait till it's too late.
Papa Lock is a full-service mobile locksmith. We offer automotive key makes and programming, or can assist in your home or office locksmith needs in the Tri-Cities and surrounding areas. Papa Lock is locally owned and operated.
Get a fresh approach to marketing with Region Pen and Marketing. Tomorrow's ideas today. Visit regionrocksmarketing.com, your one-stop source for marketing and promotional products. When it comes to your most meaningful moments in life, come to Dempsey's Jewelers, carrying a great selection of sought-after brands. Dempsey's Jewelers, in the heart of Johnson City. For clothing, boots, tack, and accessories, visit Double C Western Supply in Elizabethton. Come see us or visit cowgirlchrome.com.
Barnett Guns in Hampton has the American Tactical 12-gauge pump shotgun for $199. New handguns starting at $136. Largest selection of guns, ammo, and accessories in the regions, and individual training classes available. Whether you are new to firearms or a seasoned shooter, we gladly share our product knowledge and enthusiasm for the shooting sports. We are truly thankful for your business. Barnett Guns in Hampton, Tennessee.
Simple Blessings General Store is an old-fashioned store featuring candy, glass bottles, sodas, local crafts, and more. Home of the Lunch Bucket Deli 2, located in beautiful historic downtown Elizabethton. Awesome design concepts, from racing company trucks, storefronts, t-shirts, and more. Call today, 865-809-6209.
So, you know, we bought the legend car, raced it at Bristol, then a couple weeks later the season started at Newport. So we get down there, we're very competitive right off the bat. I think there was 14, 15 cars, and had some really good races down there. But Carter was about 3 at the time I started doing this. And
probably the biggest inspiration for me to start racing was like when I could finally, like when I was 3, which I couldn't really understand much.
So we noticed right off the bat that he just loved crawling in and out of the car.
So I just remember crawling in and out of that.
You just get in and out of the car, in and out of the car.
And of course, Carter was right there with him. Anytime he could, he'd hop in the seat and sit there and, you know, pretend like he was driving.
Wanted to stand up in the seat and hold the steering wheel. And
I think seeing that at a young age, Carter really developed a love for it.
And then I remember he showed me pictures of his go-kart, and I had probably 2,000 or 3,000 Matchbox cars, and I still have them, and I still play with them sometimes. Not really anymore, but
I noticed my 2 daughters really enjoyed being around the sport and just being down there. We printed up Davison Racing t-shirts, and they'd give them to their friends, and so we were making a kind of a big family deal out of the racing.
And did that for probably 2 years.
Really enjoying it.
It was more fun, I think.
But after a few seasons of doing that, I decided probably the best thing for me at my age, nobody was going to call and offer me a ride as a full-time stock car driver, and enough money to pay the bills anyway for a family of 5.
Did I think he was going to make a career out of it? No.
And so we decided to pull the plug on that. Carter had been exposed to it at that point, and I was a little nervous because I thought, well, hopefully he'll kind of forget about this. He was really, really little. I thought, well, we'll just be over with this. It's an expensive sport. It can be dangerous at times, and so I thought we would move on. And it was just a few months went by, and Carter wanted a dirt bike for Christmas, and that opened up a whole new can of worms.
So we had 3 children at the time. Carter was probably 2 or 3, and I guess because he was our 3rd child, he was a boy, I guess Dean's wheels were turning. He was probably thinking, we may have some need for speed in the house.
So at about 3.5 years old, Carter, we had 4-wheelers.
Had go-karts and like little dune buggies. We had all that.
And dirt bikes and go-karts and everything at the house.
And so he tried really hard to get them to like that, and they liked it. They enjoyed riding. And
we would go to this place that's not far from our house, and me and the girls would ride, and sometimes we'd take Carter along.
Dad tried to get me and Kami to race go-karts or anything.
He had tried really hard with the girls,
but we just didn't really have an interest to drive.
But nobody was interested in, you know, competing.
I just more like just being around it and just being at the atmosphere.
So I guess when Carter got to be a little older, he thought maybe there's a possibility.
So he wanted a dirt bike, and so he could ride a bicycle with no training wheels at 3 years old. He could balance.
And before that, he was on scooters and little pedal cars and all that stuff. So he always loved to be out in the driveway riding something or pulling something, driving something, you know, on the lawnmower. Thinking back on that, actually it probably started with me, because since I was the one that actually taught him how to ride his bicycle.
It was actually that bike right there, which if she probably wouldn't have taught me now if she would have known that I would be racing this, because I mean, I don't think she's too crazy about this. But
everyone loves to say, oh, he's racing because of Dean. Dean, you know, had this love of racing, and I don't know. I like to take a little bit of credit in it because I was actually the one that taught him how to ride his bicycle without training wheels in the backyard.
And so we told him, all right, we'll get you, Santa Claus will bring you a dirt bike. So I actually went, I don't know if he knows this, but I found his dirt bike was used. I don't think he ever knew it. I think he thought Santa Claus brought him a brand new, and I went and found a good used dirt bike, cleaned it up a little bit, and rolled that in on Christmas morning. and he was just beside himself. He was very excited. But the funny part of the story is that's a 4-stroke. And I didn't know the 3.5-year-old, almost 4-year-old, knew the difference between a 4-stroke and a 2-stroke. He said, "Dad, I thought it was supposed to go ying, 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 like a 2-stroke engine." And so I looked at him and I said, "So you mean like a 2-stroke?" And he said, "Yeah." He really, really, really wanted to race that. And then he proceeded to ask me, could we take his 50 down there to race? And at that time, Heather came in and said, "Hey, wait, what's going on? Are y'all conspiring against me? Or is he fixing to go race that? I thought y'all were just going to watch." And I said, she kind of like gave me that look like, "I know how you are, you like racing." And I said, "No, we're just going to watch." She said, "Well, why is he dressed in full motocross gear?" And I said, "I don't know. He just came down the stairs like that." So I told him, I said, "Look, you've got to go change." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because if we take you down there like that, Mom thinks you're going to race."
And so I was like, "Dad, I'm going to race." I was like, "We're going here and I'm going to race." And he was like,
No, we're not taking your dirt bike, and you've got to go change." So I waited a few minutes. He came back down. He was still dressed like that.
Of course, Carter had on his gear, just like any kid that's going to a baseball game or a bull ride, and they dress up for the occasions.
So we finally convinced Mom. She inspected our truck, made sure we didn't have his dirt bike with us. He went to the indoor motocross races that night dressed like he was a rider. And so he had his boots. I mean, he had everything on, his chest plate, everything.
So Carter was dressed up for the occasion, had on his motocross suit.
And he walked around the place, and everybody thought he was actually racing. And people would come up to him and, "Oh, how cute! Oh, wow, what class are you racing in?" I thought he was racing, but he wasn't. So we made it through almost that entire motocross race, and at the very end, they flashed up on the screen.
It says National BMX Race, and I'm like, wow.
So I walked down to him and I said, "Hey, buddy, would you like to race your bicycle?" And he said, "Yeah, I would love to race my bicycle." And I said, "Well, they're going to have a bicycle race in a couple months right here." We went home. I knew nothing about bicycle racing. I knew absolutely no one that raced a bicycle. I'd never seen a bicycle race in my life before, and Carter really was wanting to do this. So I told him, I said, "If you're really serious about this, you go get your bicycle." And we had kind of a hilly backyard. I'd make him ride that bicycle up the hill, because that's the only way I knew to train for a BMX bicycle race. So it's probably not the best way to start out your BMX bicycle career at the Spring Nationals on a borrowed bicycle that's too big. But Carter's all hyped up. We go down there, we get on the bicycle, ride it around. He doesn't fall over.
And little did I know that Carter was actually going to be practicing that day.
And then the next thing, he comes out and says, "Hey, 15 or 20 minutes, his class is up. Y'all are registered. You're ready to go for the weekend. This will be his first practice."
So we get there. I'm like, "Okay, we'll let him practice. That'll be great. Maybe when a lot of people aren't out on the course or whatever you call it, he can get on there and try it."
They drop you from about 30 feet kind of an incline, and that gives you your momentum, and then you start going over the humps or the jumps.
And that all went okay until...
Simple Blessings General Store is an old-fashioned store featuring candy, glass bottles, sodas, local crafts, and more. Home of the Lunch Bucket Deli 2, located in beautiful historic downtown Elizabethton.
Papa Lock is a full-service mobile locksmith. We offer automotive key makes and programming, or can assist in your home or office locksmith needs in the Tri-Cities and surrounding areas. Papa Lock is locally owned and operated.
Get a fresh approach to marketing with Region Pen and Marketing. Tomorrow's ideas today. Visit regionrocksmarketing.com, your one-stop source for marketing and promotional products.
Awesome design concepts from racing company trucks, storefronts, t-shirts, and more. Call today 865-809-6209. When it comes to your most meaningful moments in life, come to Dempsey's Jewelers, carrying a great selection of sought-after brands. Dempsey's Jewelers in the heart of Johnson City. For clothing, boots, tack, and accessories, visit Double C Western Supply in Elizabethton. Come see us or visit cowgirlchrome.com.
Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City is starting off 2018 with monster savings on over 350 new Chevrolets to choose from. Take advantage of these awesome savings for a limited time only. Silverado Crew and Double Cabs, $10,000 off MSRP, 17 Spark, $11,995, 18 Equinox, $19,995, 17 Traverse, $28,995, 17 Corvette, 20% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
Call Keith Yachts at KY Construction for all your excavating needs. With acts of violence increasing every day, planning, preparation, and training are key to surviving. Bellatorum Solutions can help you be ready for rapidly changing threats. So, if it happened today, would you be ready?
Carter goes about 30 feet, and
he went over the first hump and
gets his handlebars crossed up coming off of that incline, the starting block.
took a crash and
falls bad, hard.
Carter started crying. I was like, okay, this is short and sweet. We're going to be heading home here in just a little while.
I obviously, as the dad, I'm running out there. Every time I get to him, he's standing back up. He's trying to stand the bicycle back up.
And Dean went down to check on him, make sure he was okay, and
he's got tears running out of his eyes. And to me, it looked like he was bleeding from his eyes because the clay had gotten to the tears, and he had these big reddish orange clay tears coming out. And I was like, "Hey, buddy, are you okay? You know what's going on? Are you done?"
And so I was like, "Dad, put me back on there and let me finish." And so we finished because I thought it was a race, but it wasn't. It was practice.
And all he could say with his tears is, he said, "Help me get back on the bicycle."
the next thing I know, he's back out there.
He took off, did 2 or 3 rounds of practice.
And the next thing I know, he's got a bicycle. I don't know where it came from, who he borrowed it from, and he's entered him in a national race. And so, you know, sitting back there as a mom, I'm a nervous wreck because he's, at this point, I think he's 4.5 maybe.
And by Sunday afternoon, he was 4th in the nation in the National Bicycle League BMX opening spring nationals. He was sitting 4th and had never been on a bicycle to race. Was on a borrowed bicycle. By the end of the weekend, a gentleman had come up and said, "Hey, we've got some extra chassis that prototype chassis would like to work with Carter. I will send him a chassis and a couple of uniforms by the middle of the week." And Wednesday afternoon, lo and behold, of that week, UPS pulls up with a couple of different uniforms and a chassis that weighed, I think the thing weighed like 5 pounds. Carter was in pre-kindergarten. He wasn't in kindergarten yet. And he could literally pick up his bicycle almost with one finger, but easily with one hand. They worked with Carter, and he went on to win the Tennessee State Championship that year.
Carter County is located in the beautiful mountains of northeast Tennessee, a haven for outdoor enthusiasts throughout the year. With 4 distinct seasons, visitors may select the time of year that best fits their interests. Whether it's hiking in the spring, fishing or golfing in the summer, viewing leaves and mountain biking in autumn, or cross-country skiing in the winter, there are a myriad of exciting and challenging outdoor activities available. Scenic Watauga Lake, created in 1948 by the Tennessee Valley Authority, is the cleanest impoundment in the TVA chain. Being surrounded by undeveloped wilderness, this lake is a true gem, a joy to boat, kayak and swim, and certainly one of the most picturesque in the contiguous United States. Roan Mountain, with an elevation of 6,285 feet above sea level, is home to the world's largest wild Catawba rhododendron gardens. The gardens are a sea of pink in June when the rhododendron blooms peak. A morning hike through the clouds and over the grassy balls of the Roan on the Appalachian Trail is nature and beauty at its finest. Interested in history? Come and learn the history of Carter County, the location of the first Democratic government on this continent. Elizabethton and Carter County were originally known as the Watauga Settlement, which was settled in 1770. Located on the Watauga River and centered on the Sycamore Shoals River crossing, this was the first of 4 permanent settlements located west of the Appalachian Mountains. Take a stroll through downtown Elizabethton with its many interesting antique shops. spectacular restaurants, a summer cruise-in which runs every Saturday evening from April through October, or catch the Covered Bridge Festival in June with music, vendors, and fun. Get lost in the striking landscapes that are Carter County. Go back in time and experience the history that shaped this nation. Visit, stay, and enjoy Carter County, Tennessee's mountain playground.
Okay, so Carter went on to win the Tennessee State BMX Championship that year. And about 3 races to go in the season, he had come to me and he had seen my go-kart racing trophies that were down in the basement from 20 years earlier. And he said, "Dad, I'd really like to race go-karts." And I was really enjoying the BMX bicycle racing because BMX bicycle racing is like a $15 entry fee. I'm already feeding Carter. He's the engine and the driver. We had the bicycle frame sponsored. I mean, we had hardly nothing in this whole thing other than some travel expenses. So I was really thinking, let's make a run at this BMX stuff. But Carter had other plans. He said, I want to move on to go-karts. And I was like, man, you know, part of me was really excited, but the other part of me was like, man, I saw a lot of time, a lot of money. He's not the only child. He's got 2 older sisters, and my wife stays at home. So I was like, how are we going to do this? And I kind of made an agreement with him that I did not think he would reach. He was sitting about 3rd. And I said, look, buddy, I said, if you go to Nashville in a couple weeks, and you leave there the Tennessee State BMX champion, I said, I'll get you into go-karts.
And so he was like, yeah, because he was like, there's no way he's going to win the state championship. That's what he thought.
I didn't think Carter would win.
And I proved him wrong.
And y'all already know, I said he went down there and he came off the starting blocks and he was in about 4th. And by the first turn, he had moved up to 3rd. And by the second turn, he was battling for 2nd. But first had several bicycle links on him. I really didn't think he was going to catch him, but he was moving. I thought he would run out of time. I thought he'd run out of track before he caught this guy. And Carter catches him coming out of the last turn, passes him, and wins the Tennessee State Championship for BMX bicycles for his age group.
And then with the bet that if he won the championship, that he could get a go-kart.
He said, Dad, and I said, what's that, buddy? And he said, I thought we were getting into go-kart racing. And I said, well, we are.
When that happened, then it was no looking back. We weren't looking at, you know, bicycles anymore. Now we were looking at go-karts, and, you know, from my perspective, that got really scary from my mom's perspective, because I knew that we were dealing with higher rates of speed. You were dealing with other kids that were just learning. So I worried about injury a lot.
Next on Left Turn Livin'.
Everything that Carter's ever raced, my husband and some of the guys at the track always try to sell me on how safe it is, which I don't buy it.
I feel a left turn coming this way. Let's make a left turn, left turn.